Well, Harvey Levin of TMZ and I had a pretty feisty conversation in which he argued that President Trump was essentially being racist for not recognizing systemic racism. The conversation started out okay, but it went south pretty fast.
At the same time, Donald Trump is touting that he feels has been better for African Americans than anybody except possibly Abraham Lincoln.
Possibly.
And he's trying to paint a fairly rosy picture of what it's like for Black people in America under his tutelage. So how do you square the two?
This man is doing something about the economy before the coronavirus pandemic, historically low unemployment. The man has signed the First Step Act, which allowed something like 5,000 mostly Black men to have their sentences reconsidered and reduced an average of about 75 months. He's also spent more money on enterprise zones. He's put funding on HBCUs for the first time over a period of 10 years. No one's ever done that before.
The president is also saying that there is no systemic racism in America. There is no systemic racism in policing. And
There isn't.
Okay. All right.
There is no evidence of systemic racism whatsoever. In fact, the evidence shows the opposite. I was just about ready to say there's a Black Harvard professor named Roland Fryer who assumed, just as you did, that the police were killing Blacks just because they were Black. He did a study. Not only did he not find it, he found out, which tracked other studies, the police are more hesitant, more reluctant to pull the trigger on a Black suspect than on a white suspect. And it's common sense because of people like people in the media who immediately assume that a cop is doing something racist or motivated because the victim is Black. They're afraid to shoot a Black person much greater than they are afraid to shoot a white person.
Larry, you're from Los Angeles, and you know what happened with the Rampart Division. It was an incredible scandal where they were going into the inner city and they were setting people up and planting drugs and doing all this stuff. I mean, this has been going on for a long time.
Harvey, 20 years ago, from 1992 to 2002, Los Angeles had back-to-back Black police chiefs, even during the O.J. Simpson case. And what happened?
But that doesn't mean
you're confused, away, Larry.
You can't look at a Black police chief and say, therefore, there isn't systemic racism.
Right. We had a Black president. Is there no racism in America then, Larry? I mean, come on.
First you said systemic racism. Now you're saying racism. Which one do you want?
No, I'm saying I'm sticking with systemic.
There's no evidence whatsoever of systemic racism. I ask you to prove it.
A cop watching somebody run away, a Black man run away, shooting him and killing him. A guy walking into a convenience store, shooting him and killing him. Larry, we've seen this.
Okay, here's the thing, Larry. I hear what you're saying about the studies.
Harvey, let me try it this way. There are 50 million police-civilian interactions every single year. Out of that 50 million, there are 11 million arrests. Out of that 11 million arrests, 60,000 officers are assaulted. Out of all of that, 1,000 civilians are killed. Half of them are white, 250 of them were Black. Almost all of them were resisting with a weapon or resisting violently. When you get down to unarmed Black men being shot by white cops, you're talking about less than 4% of the total. And unarmed does not mean not dangerous. Michael Brown was unarmed, but he was reasonably perceived as dangerous. It is rare, Harvey, you guys are exaggerating this. When a white person gets killed by a cop, nobody gives a damn. When a Black person gets killed by a cop, people are out in the streets. And in Philadelphia, you're talking about a city where the captain of the city council is Black. Almost every single member of city council is a Democrat. They've had Black mayors. The police chief is a Black female, and you're still talking about systemic racism. It's ridiculous. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, really. You're making the country worse.
We actually, Larry, I'm going to be very clear about something.
Hold on, Charles.
I sleep just fine
not ashamed of
and
myself.
maybe you do too, and that's fine. So we're going to disagree on this.
Maybe you should be. Maybe you should be, Larry, because there is a problem.
The facts
are
on my side.
in this
The facts are not on your side.
And you are relying on statistics, and you are not looking at humanity, Larry.
It's called facts.
Did he really say you are relying on statistics, not looking at humanity?
You are relying on statistics, and you are not looking at humanity,
It's called
Larry.
facts.
He sure did.
Oh, the humanity.
It's called facts. It's called
evidence.
evidence.
I gave you
open your eyes, Larry. There's evidence. There's visual evidence every day. Open your eyes if you're not seeing it.
1997, Time Magazine, CNN asked Black teens and white teens about racism. Is racism a major problem? This is 23 years ago. Is racism a major problem in America? They said yes. But then the Black teens were asked this. Is racism a big problem, a small problem, or no problem in your own daily life? 89% said no problem or a small problem in my own daily life. In fact, more black teens and white teens said failure to take
But Larry,
advantage of
what did you say that study was?
is a bigger
Hold on,
problem
Larry.
than racism.
You said that study was in 1997?
Yeah, before Barack Obama got elected and reelected. So I would think that
Okay,
whatever racism
1997. We're in 2020. You want to bring up a study that was done 23 years ago?
The relevance of it is, wouldn't you think that America was more racist in 1997 than now? Even then, black kids.
No, actually,
No,
I think it's
wouldn't.
more racist now than it was in '97. Because I think people have.
You guys are so intent on proving a country.
Larry, let me tell you.
Actually, I don't.
Hold on. Larry, I want to say
so intent on proving a country that has
Larry,
been so
Larry, please. Larry, please. I'm going to tell you why I think it's more racist, and then I want to give you the final word, okay?
Thank you.
I think it's more racist because of Donald Trump, because of the things he says, and he has given permission. Let me just make my point. You get the final word. He has given people permission to be racist. He has given people permission to be violent. He has talked about liberating states. He has talked about white supremacist groups standing by. He is deliberately not using the proper pronunciation of Kamala Harris's name. He is doing a lot of stuff that sounds racist, that is giving people permission. And that's why I think we're seeing this influx of racism, which I believe is worse than in 1997.
Wow.
You have the last word. You have the last word.
Wow. The high point of race relations for both whites and blacks took place during the administration of George W. Bush. It dramatically catered during the second term of Barack Obama when he was saying things like the Cambridge police acted stupidly. We have a little place called Ferguson. When he was touting Black Lives Matter, that's when race relations really declined. There is a city in Texas called Abilene, which is the city of 100,000 population or more that most voted for Donald Trump, almost 80%. Guess which city just voted for a black mayor? Its first black mayor, Abilene, Texas. Now, how is it if Donald Trump is sending a racist dog whistle to voters, the same racist dog whistle turned around and voted for a black man for mayor? It's BS. Donald Trump has done a great deal for black people, most especially the economy. Secondly, supporting choice in school. Thirdly, doing something about the competition posed by illegal aliens. That's good enough for me. The rest of it to me is just white noise, pardon the expression.
Okay, we will leave it there. That was good, Larry. That was good.
Much love,
Larry,
Harvey.
thank you.
All right. Thanks, Larry.
You got it, guys.